What's up, cPOPuniverse? Welcome to Season 2 of Pop or Bust. I am here with the family in the same room. If you're watching from our YouTube page, if you haven't, go to our YouTube page and watch from there, too.
Wow, that was aggressive.
Just very aggressive.
Very aggressive.
The love of my life, my ward of my wife, Kristy, is here today.
Hey, cPOP.
Good friend, better enemy.
Lights over there.
It's shining off your head. Good friend, better enemy, the professional Scotty Gass. I went into the
What's
wrestling.
good, Culture Vultures?
Guys, welcome to Season 2 Rebirth. We're calling it
Rebirth.
Yeah. We're calling
All kinds of flashy gimmicks across the screen here. Insert here.
I'm not doing that. We're calling it Rebirth because we're back. We're going to come into doing more weekly content for you guys. We've all been busy. We're done being busy. Can't talk today. I'm very excited for Season 2.
Words are hard.
So we're going to be here recording every Wednesday. Scotty's in on town. So as you can see,
not be here every Wednesday. I will not be here every Wednesday.
Yeah, let's set expectations.
But if this is your first time listening to us, we are a podcast. We talk about pop culture, nerdy things. You know, it's the things we like, read, watch, play. We get into all that. We're not critics. We're just average people like you. And we're taking bullets for you all, letting you know whether you should get into these things or if you should save the money.
It's too early for me to yell that. We have to save that for later.
You got to...
we're changing it.
Ease into the rebirth season. You just can't crown too early. Oh, wow.
Kristy says that to me all the time.
Oh, jeez. What are we talking about today?
What are we talking about? In Pop or Bust, we're going to go ahead and get into the challengers.
It's right here.
Yeah, I don't need your shit.
It's all right here for you to be able to see.
Oh, you do have it on there. That's pretty nice.
I do.
Beverly Hills Cop, Axel. Was it Axel F?
Axel F, yes.
Erik on Netflix. Acolyte on Disney Plus. That's getting a lot of press right now, so we're going to definitely talk about that. Bad Boys. Which one is this? 3?
4.
I was going to say.
Why they called the last one For Life then? Anyway. And challengers.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the Pop or Bust segment. Then a couple of quick hits, and Kristy's doing a new gaming segment today.
Yes.
Woot, woot.
Brandon loves new segments. It's his favorite thing in the world.
I love games too. All right, so let's get into it. We're going to get into quick hits. Scotty, well, tell them what we do when we quick hit.
Yeah, sure. Quick hits is a segment where one of us gets to talk 1 minute about something we play, read, or got into. After we're done with 1 minute, then the other people on the panel get a chance to ask 1 or 2 questions about it, and then we rate it. We rate it on a scale of now, later, or never. Now means we're telling you to go watch it now. Later means, if you get to it eventually, that's good. You should see it, though, at some point. Never means, nope, just skip that thing.
Skip that thing.
Just skip that thing. The new shirt at cPOPuniverse. Skip that thing. Is that kind of like the Hot Tua of cPOPuniverse?
The what? Hot Tua?
Oh my God.
The Hot Tua, you haven't seen that? Oh, we'll talk about that later.
I'm going to turn you guys up real quick. All right, I'll go first.
Anybody want first?
Yeah, why not?
You can see your time. It's not like I got to do anything.
I'm going to nail it this time.
Okay.
Do it.
All right, I'm getting into The Boys Season 4. We're about 5 episodes deep into that show, and it's more boys. If it ain't woke, don't fix it. You ain't in there. I've been waiting all week to China.
Oh, that was terrible.
But it's not. Like it's
the puns are no better this season, folks. Go ahead.
It's getting a lot of press being too. Look, the whole show's been like this. I don't know what y'all talking about. Who cares? I actually don't like the storylines though. I think it is a step back from the first 3 seasons. I don't think a lot's happening that's like feels very important or very time constraining. You know what I mean? Like they're not under the gun or anything. It seems like the boys are discombobulated. They've been for the whole first half of the season already. So not seeing them get along and stuff is probably like the biggest storyline, but it's not really that great. And I think it's the problem with this season right now. It's still good. It's still gory. It's still over the top. It's still like a decent show. It just falters a little bit because of the storytelling. It feels like a filler season getting ready to go into their last season. And I am done. Perfect.
I would have given you a couple more seconds.
Yeah, you took a couple more seconds. Ask away, folks.
Well, full disclosure, I actually did see a few episodes of this.
Oh, good.
So, but you got into it further than I did. I echo your sentiments. Actually, it's more boys, which that's never a bad thing in my opinion. But
it's still.
But it's. I don't want to say it's starting to get a little repetitious, but
it's just there's not a lot going on. There's not a lot of creativity in the season.
Question.
Yes.
Do you like the new characters?
I do like the news characters. Fire, what the hell is her name? Firecracker. Mm-hmm. She plays like an over the top conservative, and it's kind of funny to watch because she's she's a lesbian, but she's playing someone who actually hates gay people in the show. So it's like her really showing some range, but she's doing a great job with it, and I think she's portraying an extremist pretty well.
So she's a lesbian on the show, or she's a lesbian in real life?
Real life.
Oh, but
she's playing like super Christian, hate everything about that. And then Sage, I do like Sage. I like having someone that's smarter than the smartest girl on earth or whatever, smartest person on earth. It's nice to see Homelander have to tangle with that because he knows he's not as smart as her.
So my question is, if this season is lagging, you said next season is going to be the final season. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like they're running out of ideas, or do you think they're just saving their good ideas for the final season? Do you have hope for the final season?
Yeah, I think it'll go out with a bang. Okay. I do. I think it's just, this is a filler season. They just started talking about, I don't want to spoil anything, but the thing that I think season 6 will be mainly about.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I think they're getting there. Just get them in time.
All right. Now, later, never.
If you're a boys fan now, it's still good. It might sound like I don't like it, but it's just not as good as the first 3 seasons. But it's still like excellent. The gentleman that plays Homelander is just freaking phenomenal. Might be the best heel in the business. I don't know. He's a good bad guy.
He is a good bad guy.
Like, I want to punch him.
He definitely is a very good
But he'd punch a hole through me. All right, who's next?
Kristy, you want to go up next?
Sure. So this week I got into, sorry, just start the timer.
We're good.
This week I got into Jim Henson's Idea Man that was directed by Ron Howard. I watched it on Disney Plus, and it's basically a documentary about Jim Henson's life. It has a lot of interviews with, family, friends, but also like clips from like behind the scenes and clips from movies and shows and things that he did. And it was really interesting. I really loved it, but I'm a huge Jim Henson fan. I mean, just growing up here, like with Sesame Street and in like the Pittsburgh area where that was so big. And I loved Fraggle Rock growing up and all of those things. I kind of missed some of his more iconic things in like the 70s and 80s. Like, I think that's when, what was the movie that came out that he did that like kind of bombed? Labyrinth? Yeah.
Time.
Darn, that went really fast.
You did not prep her.
I did not do that
it's
well.
right in front of you.
I was not looking at that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Questions. I have one question.
Yes.
So does it get into where he went to college?
They don't talk about boring things like that.
I just wanted everybody to know he went to the University of Maryland. Just FYI. Anyway, go ahead. That wasn't my real question. Go ahead.
That's why he had to make puppets, and he wasn't very smart.
I think you purposely set my chair lower than yours so you could look.
You set your own chair.
I'm actually taller than Brandon. I don't know why I'm so much shorter than him. Anyway, go ahead. Questions.
I actually don't have. Do you go into the story of how he created some of his ideas, like Kermit and stuff like that? They get into that.
Not as much. I thought it was really interesting that his wife was really instrumental in like actually building and designing the puppets. And then all of his kids actually also got into the same industry. But
they don't go into backstory.
So that was kind of, they went into a lot about him and his wife and, his family and then that kind of stuff. But
I don't care about that. The puppets. Like, why is animal and stuff like that?
No,
why is Miss Piggy a bitch?
No, not
wow.
Well, she is.
Wow.
Not as much about that. More about like
she's abusive.
How iconic those characters were, and you know what I mean, and how they kind of changed over time. But yeah. It was still very interesting.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah. And then
Your minute's up, man.
We're talking about Erik later.
I was gonna say that. That's a very interesting tie into something we're getting ready to talk about.
So going from that documentary to watching Erik, which we're gonna talk about in a little bit, was kind of fun too.
Especially since you said the kids were kind of getting into it, so that kind of
that's
pretty nice. That's kind of cool.
All right, now, later, never.
For me, I think if you like documentaries, this is definitely a now. I thought it was really well done. It held my attention. And plus, who doesn't love Jim Henson? Like, it's just
I don't really care about him.
Curious.
Wow. You're just a hater.
You are a hater.
I didn't watch a lot of Muppet stuff. I watched Muppet Babies.
You didn't watch Sesame Street?
Mm-mm.
Muppet Babies.
That was
What's
cool.
wrong with you?
That was cool.
You were like 2.
That's super cool since I came out of the
Anyway.
womb.
We all know those are lies anyway. All right. Well, that's now for.
Yeah, would you say that on? I'm sorry.
That's what.
I saw it on Disney Plus.
All right, Disney Plus. They actually put something new on there apparently.
They did.
Outside the Acolyte. Anyway.
Other than something Star Wars or Marvel.
Yeah. All right, you're up.
All right. Last but not least, I got the last minute. You ready with timer there?
Yep.
All right, I got into Presumed Innocence. This is on Apple Plus. I'm going to keep shoving this down Brandon's throat until he actually starts buying it. This is an old book, and then they actually did a movie of it, I believe, in the early 90s with Harrison Ford. They've actually changed a few of the things in this show. This is actually a show. It's not a movie. They've actually changed a few of the details, and it really does make a big difference between this and the earlier movie with Harrison Ford. Jake Gyllenhaal's a good actor.
He is.
Oh my gosh,
In case
he
you
really
missed that.
is.
He's so good in this. Like, the rest of the cast is decent. Like, nothing wrong with them, but he's just really good in this. Nothing bad to say about the rest of the cast. Like, everybody does their job pretty well. He just
but
is
he's
a
in
standout.
I get it.
I will say this is supposed to be 8 episodes, and I got into, I think, 4 or 5 because they are releasing this weekly. It's a weekly release, not like all at once, which I kind of getting back into again as opposed to the binge.
Yeah.
I will say what I've seen, if this is 8, it probably could have been like 6 episodes. And that's my time.
Time. I was watching your mic levels. I think you're good. You got to talk in your mic, though.
Okay.
You know what? Next time we do
talk
this,
to us and talk
I know, right?
that's what I was going to say, because we have to turn and talk to each other. We're going to have to design this better.
I got you. We'll figure it out as we're going. If I'm ever here again for this. Questions on
Kristy.
Presumed Innocence?
Does it break it up that it's a series and not a movie? Does
Yeah.
it like does it feel choppier?
Yes.
Oh, man, that was going to be my question.
Yeah, so
Too bad.
the original movie was about a guy who's suspected of killing his coworker because they were having an affair, and the story that comes out of it. There's a lot more character development because they have so much more time to breathe with it. Like,
Okay.
there's things that I'm like, well, that wasn't in the movie. I'm like, but I don't know how they would have fitted in the movie because the movie was only, less than 2 hours long,
Yeah.
where they have 8 hours to kind of.
Yeah, that was before we had 3-hour movies. So
Well, this is true. This is true.
I presume he's innocent, huh?
So
Thank you for the laugh. That was a terrible joke.
that
We
was
do laugh. I
horrible.
appreciate it.
That was horrible. And
that was pretty
Literally.
bad.
honestly, because I haven't gotten to the last episode yet, I don't know. I know how.
You just got to presume it.
I know. Oh God. I know how the original TV show, or excuse me, the original movie ended. But some things in this are telling me that they actually might change up the ending for this. I could be wrong with that. I haven't seen the end, but I have a feeling that the ending of this could be different than they did the movie. So I am interested in watching the rest of it. So
She did take my question. I wasn't even being funny. So, are there boobs?
no, there are not boobs. What is wrong with you? Like,
All right, there's 6 people out there that are dying to know now.
why do you have a
later, or
problem
never.
with Apple? Why, what is
I
your
don't have a problem with it. Nobody
Apple?
just
what
buy-
kind of phone do you have here? Is this, that's an Apple phone, folks. He has.
Is the Apple
he
TV
probably
channel
gets
on there?
The TV show for free because he has an Apple phone, but he decides to not watch anything on it.
There's only 8 things on it.
I honestly would say definitely at least later. Not never. It's good. Gyllenhaal's good enough just to be able to see this. The story is a little bit slow. Like I said, if
I'm
this is
surprised you did
supposed to
later.
be 8 episodes, they could have probably shortened it 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But it's good. I would say later. Definitely pick it up later.
All right. Hey, when Apple Plus comes to your area, because right now it's not.
It's everywhere. If you have an Apple product, you probably got it for free for a handful of months.
Yeah, and there's 6.
Activate it and watch it. They have good things.
Yeah, there's like 6 shows on it. You'll enjoy it. You'll have a good
Every
time.
show we've had the last like 6 months, which hasn't been that many,
About
because
6
of you,
shows.
but we've actually had something from Apple Plus on it, and most of them have been.
You're gonna
good.
run out of stuff soon.
No, I'm not. There's still like 3 more shows that are new on there.
Dude.
That's quick hits. So do those things that we said. All right, we got a new segment, and we got nothing fancy here, but it's called the Level Up Lounge. We're going to try to bring more video game content to you guys this year or this season. So, Kristy, what did you get into for the Level Up Lounge?
All right, before we dive into the Level Up Lounge, can I just say I'm loving our setup here.
This is the Level Up
I
Lounge.
know, right? Look at us. Look at us in our little arcade.
Yeah, you can't see it, but there's like
Love it.
stuff around.
There's
They can
stuff
see it over their
around.
shoulders. They can
Yeah, I
see
mean,
stuff.
there's like
They can
pinball
see
machines
it.
and stuff. And
Oh yeah, there's other
But
stuff.
anyways, yes. So for today for the Level Up Lounge, I got into Luigi's Mansion 2 HD.
Starting out with a Switch
HD,
game.
Thank you.
Yes. And I really like the Luigi Mansion games. Whenever anything comes out for the Switch, I'm super excited because I feel like they don't bring things out regularly enough for me. Like I'm always waiting for the next thing to come out. So I think like 3 days before this came out, I was looking every day because I'm like, it's almost here. It's almost here. It's almost here. And then finally the 27th came and I was able to grab it, snatch it up. And I've been playing it pretty consistently ever since.
Okay.
If you're familiar with the Luigi Mansion games, they're pretty consistent. You know, Luigi gets his little backpack and he has light, mechanisms that go through and kind of unfreeze things and freeze ghosts and suck them into his little vacuum. So all of that is really fun. The one thing I'm noticing about this, there's a lot of repetitive play on the levels. So
it's a Nintendo game, is what you're saying.
Well,
that's pretty much
I
Nintendo.
noticed this in Luigi's Mansion 3, though, where you go through a level on a mission, and then the next mission, you kind of go through those
It's almost like a Metroidvania game, yeah.
It's like a what?
Metroidvania game where
gotcha.
you have to keep backtracking.
Gotcha.
In a way, but each level starts as like its own thing. It's like an old game where it has levels and you just keep going through it.
Yeah.
But it's weird that you play the same level a bunch.
Yeah. So initially on some of the earlier levels, it kind of felt a little repetitive, but it was still pretty fun. I just got through the third level, I believe.
Oh, you're way behind that.
No, the third level. Each level has like 6 missions to it.
I got you.
Jeez, pay attention,
Yeah.
Brandon.
I'm sorry.
So, and
Gosh.
the last mission of that level that I just got through was really difficult, but difficult enough that it made it really fun. But I had to play it like 3 times. So, but I'm really loving it. If you are a Nintendo player, I think this is definitely one that you'll want to check out. It is a remake, though, so you may have already
It's a remake
played
from
it.
a DS game.
Yes.
They did have to change some things because the DS obviously has a different interface.
Yeah.
So.
The DS wasn't HD. So
Yeah.
And it had 2 screens.
that's why it's called HD.
HD.
HD. Anyway.
But so ranking this for level up, we rank from as 1 to 10.
I played it too. Anybody cares?
Oh, did you, Brandon? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I did.
Feedback? Go ahead.
It's the best Ghostbuster game I've played.
Stop it.
It is. It's like it would be a really good Ghostbusters game.
It would be a really good
You trap ghosts, you go put them in the
I don't
thing.
think Luigi was in any of the movies.
Nah, he should be there. The ghosts in this game was what I like want to see out of the Ghostbuster movies. They're they're just plain whatever, purple blobs, green blobs, whatever.
Yeah.
You today in your energy level, just a blob sitting
Sort of
there.
like
pretty good.
Slimer-esque.
No, that's not what I meant. Energy level. That's all. Go ahead.
It has its problems with movement though, and controlling which way you're looking. And they try to fix it with buttons where you can look up with a button, but sometimes you end up spinning around trying to get to ghosts because you can't see it's really hard to tell which way you're shooting.
Yeah.
But if they could fix that, I think it'd be a better game. But it's still a fun game. We'll go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead and rate
sometimes just to build on what you said, sometimes it is hard to tell, is the ghost in front of me or behind me or to the side of me? Like, depth perception in the game is kind of difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that.
All right, let's rate it. We're going to rate stuff on...
Can I ask a question before
Sure.
you rate it?
Yeah.
Since there are ghosts, does busting make you feel good in this game?
It does. I used that joke with Kristy. She loved it.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
That's my sloppy
I'm only
second
here
joke.
once a year at your house, so I had to catch up to the times. Anyway, okay, rate it 1 out of 10.
We're going to do a
5
scale of 1 to
five.
10, 5 being average.
There you
5
go.
is average. So if I give it a 5, it doesn't mean it's shit. It means it's average. All right.
Yeah.
Language, sir.
Yeah.
Where's Kristy?
She's dropping the ball.
She's dropping the ball today.
I feel like this game is just above average for me. I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna play it until the end. But I've definitely played better games. I think that I like Luigi's Mansion 3 a little bit better than this one. But I would give it a 7.
Okay, I think it's slightly above average. I give it a 6. I think the problem with it is the movement's really tough and it gets really annoying sometimes, but it is clever. It's definitely like I'm rating this as a Nintendo game. Like Nintendo just makes bangers, right? But if you're gonna play, if you're like I want to get into Luigi's Mansion, I would say go to get 3. I think it's way better.
Oh, you're turning into me, guys.
Yeah.
Play this, not that.
Yeah, I would play that and not this. Not that this is bad, but that's just a better game. The movement's better. It has a lot more to it. This one's definitely like you can tell it was made for an old system. So I'm gonna give it a 6. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's the new segment.
That's
Level
it.
Up Lounge.
Level up.
We have another way to rate stuff. We have so many different ways to rate shit.
Well, we have a lot of different segments, so we gotta have different ways to rate stuff.
We got to make it exciting. All right, now we're getting into the heart of the segment or the podcast.
Our segment. The segment that's the heart of our show, you mean?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
I don't know. I can't find my
It's
shit.
right here.
I don't like your computer.
Look, it's
It
right
looks
in front
stupid.
of you. We're doing Pop or Bust. Why don't you tell them what
Well, that's a
Pop or
segment,
Bust
Scotty,
is?
that we do about hard decisions. We're going to tell you something we played, watched, or read during the week. If we pop it, it is cPOPuniverse approved, and we're suggesting you do one of those things. But if we bust it, saving time, saving money, don't blow out my mic, Scott. Taking bullets for y'all. We're saying stay away from it. It's no good, but here's the caveat, guys, and you're in my hands now. We're in the same room. Conviction and your pops or busts.
They're usually in the
hard
same
decisions. Hard decisions. Nah, she doesn't hurt
Quasi
me.
pop.
No, asshole, no.
Sort of a bust.
He didn't hear anything I said. No. You're going to do the same thing. All right, what's up first?
Am I reading since I actually have the script in front of me? Per
Nah.
usual, like, do you guys have it?
Actually, this is your segment.
It is, but since
So,
I'm
Kristy?
prepared, I didn't know if I'd have to read it.
Nope.
Oh, okay, good. You
All
guys.
right. First up for Pop or Bust is Challengers. Tashi, a tennis player turned coach, has transformed her husband from a mediocre player into a world-famous Grand Slam champion. To jolt him out of his recent losing streak, she makes him play a challenger event close to the lowest level of tournament on the Pro Tour. Tensions soon run high when he finds himself standing across the net from the once promising, now burnout Patrick, his former best friend and Tashi's former boyfriend. Ooh, the
Dun, dun,
drama. The drama.
Damn.
Scott, you got into this in the theater.
I did.
All right. What'd you think?
So this movie's getting a lot of acclaim. A lot of people like it. They were like pushing for this thing to be on the awards list for this year. I'll tell you my thoughts. Initially, Brandon, you and I always have a problem with movies that jump around too much. But sometimes we're like, oh, you know what? It still makes sense to do it that way, to tell the story the right way. This one jumps around, but I don't know why. Like, they don't have to. Like, they didn't need to jump around the way it does in order to tell the story the right way. So I don't know why they did that.
I hate when...
I do like the general storyline. Two guys are friends in college. They meet this, at the time, tennis star. They both kind of fall for her and are like trying to impress her. Well, she gets really hurt, and then those two end up becoming the actual better tennis players because she turns into a coach. I will say Zendaya's going to be a star. Like,
I think she is
I've
already.
been kind of teetering on her, like, maybe not. In this, like, she really does her job well. Like, this is the movie for me where I'm like, okay, she's gonna be a star. I don't understand the swooning over her. Like, I'm not.
Oh, I don't
I'm
think
not
she's
gonna
like...
knock.
I don't understand that either, but I think she's
in
great.
good shape. And
She's
you
really
can-
skinny,
And you
though,
can tell, yes, but for this movie, she's playing a tennis player.
Oh, no,
so
that's good. I'm just... When
like
people
that,
swoon
yeah.
over, she's just skinny for
Totally
me,
agree.
But I think she's a hell of an actress.
The music in this is really annoying. They play it over parts that should be emotional. It's almost distracting and kind of takes you out of it a little bit. It really messes with me. Zendaya's character is just I'm not going to cuss the way Brandon cusses and use very bad language, but
Pussy.
she's a miserable person in this. Like, she's just to the extreme to where I'm like, it almost turned me off of the movie. It'll be like, oh God, just lighten her up just a little bit. Like, just give me a little bit of light with her. And I'll be honest, this movie, I was with this movie for a lot of it. Even her character didn't totally take me out of it. Guys, the ending of this is crap. It's just bad. The very end of the movie, I was so frustrated with.
Sounds like
That's
a
what
loser.
I'll leave it at for that until you guys have any questions or anything. But it's about tennis players, and
Yeah,
and
it
there
sounds
is
boring.
an innuendo of a three-way, but that doesn't really happen. But that might get you into the theaters there,
Damn
I
it.
guess. But
That was
Oh, my.
well, I was going to watch it until you said that. But.
yeah.
I really don't have anything. It just sounds just not like a movie I would like at all. I like her. Like, I'd watch it maybe just to watch her because she's been in stuff where she just changes gears so well. Like, from going from Mary Jane to this, I forget what I watched on Netflix where she was kind of the drugs and stuff. And I was like, wow.
For you?
Oh,
Yeah. I was like, man, she really can change gears in her acting. So like, she's not like Will Smith or someone that just has one gear. Like she has, I think she's gonna be a star. I think she is a star, but I think she will.
Yeah, I agree. She is a star, but this is the movie that convinced me, and not because she totally knocks it out of the park, but because of what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
she kind of turned into a chameleon a little bit, which impressed
I'll
me.
tell you what convinced me was Greatest Showman. When she was in Greatest Showman,
I didn't see that.
I thought she was excellent,
'Cause it
and she
sucked.
just because at that time I knew her more from like the Spider-Man franchise, you know, and she played more of a tomboyish kind of. And the transformation to Greatest Showman, I was like, oh wow, she has range. Like, so it's good to hear that, you know, you're seeing that in other things. But yeah, I usually like sports movies, but I just don't know. I've never been a big tennis fan, so I don't know how I would take this movie.
You don't need to know about tennis. Like, yeah, it helps maybe this much just to understand the scoring, but not really. Like, it's just like we've said about Iron Claw and other things. Like, tennis is in the movie, but it's just a backdrop to the story that's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
All
All right, the first pop or bust of the new season. What do we get? Well, how are we starting? This is important. How's the season starting, Scott?
He's so torn.
Brandon always says hard decisions, but I'm
This
going
one
down
doesn't
the
sound
middle.
hard.
No, I'm just kidding.
I will kill you.
I'm gonna bust it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like this movie. The ending ruins it for me.
Really? Is that bad?
The ending is so bad that I really wanted to go along for the ride with this. It was fun in some sections. Her acting's good. The other guys are okay. But, man, this ending and just the through line of the movie hits a point, and then what happens at the end, I'm like, oh, man, you just fell on your face. So, even all the acclaim that's getting, people love this. Other reviewers I've seen out there are raving about this. Sorry, I'm busting it.
Yeah.
Bust. All right, don't watch it. Save your monies. Good job, Scott, taking that bullet.
No problem. I'm here for you guys just to make sure you are not wasting your money. I'll take some bullets for you. So the next thing we're getting into, I didn't watch, so I'll read this here for you guys. It is Acolyte. Acolyte is the story. The premise is the Acolyte is set at the end of the Star Wars franchise High Republic era. Excuse me, that sentence started to confuse me. So we're about 100 years before Star Wars Episode 1. It sees the respected Jedi Master investigating a series of crimes that brings him into contact with a former Padawan learner and
reveals sinister forces.
And reveals sinister forces. That's not grammatically correct.
I didn't write it.
I didn't either. I just copied it. This is on Disney Plus. Brandon and Kristy both got into it. So why don't you guys tell us about this?
How did you like CW Star Wars?
Did you? I'll be honest. The first few episodes, I remember like sitting there watching it with you and saying they did a good job of capturing the Star Wars feel. Like I felt like it was a Star Wars. I felt like I was in that space, you know?
Yeah.
That Star Wars tends to put you in. But then I think episode 3 happened, and I was like,
Yeah, it took a freaking severe left turn.
where did Star Wars go? I don't understand.
Yeah, I felt like some
It
weird
had a
sci-fi.
completely different feel to it.
Yeah.
And it had nothing to do with like the women or whatever angle people are trying to like pivot this to.
Lesbian witches had 2 kids.
Yeah, it wasn't that.
No, it wasn't that.
It was,
It was that it sucked.
I don't know. It was the way it was shot.
It felt like a completely.
It did not feel like Star Wars.
I would dare say that probably there was a different director on that episode or some shit because it kept completely different. The first 2 people were already shitting on it, and I was like, I was like, this ain't bad. It's something new at least. Like 100 years before Phantom Menace, I was into it.
Yeah.
I actually was in the first couple episodes. I'm like, I don't know what people were bitching about. I didn't like that Carrie Ann Moss died so quick.
Yeah.
Because they really averaged.
Hashtag spoilers.
It's like 6
It's
seconds
2
in.
minutes into the
Literally,
show.
the first thing that happens in the show, she dies. I'm like, what the hell?
Wow.
She's on all the materials and everything, and then
That's
she
a
just.
way to go with someone that's got a pretty big name.
I know, I
Oh,
couldn't
it
believe
was
it. And
so
seeing her play a
frustrating.
Jedi is one of the reasons I wanted to watch it. Like, all right, I liked her in Matrix. Let's go. Oh, she dead. Like literally, nah, she can't be. No, she's dead. Shit. Like,
Yeah.
so that was a weird choice. But outside of that, I was like, okay, let's see what's going on. But then it just kept making these stupid little writing decisions, just like dumb stuff. At first, you're like, all right. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. It just keeps piling on. So that each one in itself isn't that bad, but they're piling on. You're like, all right, who wrote this shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not like this big, terrible show. Like everyone hates it. People hate it because it's disrespectful. Disney's been disrespectful to the original lore of Star Wars. And this show continues that.
I do feel that.
In my opinion, this show completely does that. Monday, just the little thing with like Monday, they went into they went into the thing and changed his birth date so he could be in the show, which that's all right. But then it contradicts what he says in Phantom Menace about Siths being around. You know, I don't want to get too far into it and spoil stuff. But okay, that's in and of itself, that's not bad. But then you do the Force-born kids again, and that kills like kind of when Disney made Episode 9. It's kind of just with the Emperor being alive. It's like, all right, well, fuck, Anakin, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. His sacrifice was now nothing. It's what this does. Now his birth's not that special. So they're slowly killing like the original lore to me, and that's why I don't like this show. Yeah. It's not that it's terrible. Like I kind of enjoyed some of it. You know, the action's really good. Yeah. The last episode we watched because it's like July 4th, so it was like 5th episode or whatever. That was the big fight. I thought it was some really good choreography in there, some clever stuff, you know, but it's just not enough to like, it's too much now, Disney. You've done it. You're just killing Star Wars. And now everything you do, everybody's looking at it with a magnifying glass and be like, a freaking, oh, nope, I hate this too. They just want to hate it because you are killing it. And if all the other Star Wars that come out from Disney weren't so terrible, I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot, I think people would give this more of a pass. Yeah. But they're just slowly destroying the lore George Lucas
created.
Like
they don't go back and try to actually learn or like educate themselves before they kind of write this stuff.
No, it's
what's frustrating.
It's obvious they don't know the lore. Why don't they hire like there's a guy from Star Wars Theory, I forget his name, but he's like super into Star Wars, like he's like he knows it better than anyone, right? He has a whole channel, millions of followers.
His name is Carmen Goddard.
Yeah, but like, why wouldn't you hire some?
Have him read the script once. Exactly,
just have a script. Hire this guy as a script doctor, seriously, like, and bring him in. Quit pissing off your fan base. Like this, he has millions of Star Wars fans that follow him because they love him and whatever. Like he knows what the fan base wants to see. So like, hire one of these guys because you don't know Star Wars, Disney. You're killing it. Give it away. Sell it to me. You know what? Call me.
You know what makes me sad about this whole thing, and I agree with everything that you've said, is I actually really think Amanda Stenberg, who plays the main character, basically the twins.
Yeah.
I think she's a really good actress. I enjoy watching her on screen. I enjoyed her in the Hunger Games.
Yeah, I didn't know that was Gru. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I like her. I think she's good.
I don't think she's bad. I think she could do a little bit more like nuance between. It's about twins, so like the twins are exactly the same. Like their attitude, like her facial expressions should be a little more scouring, a little more someone that's more upset when she's hell, I don't remember their names. Osha.
Osho is the good one.
Yeah, May.
And May.
Yeah, so like I just think she could do a little better job of that. But she's not a bad actor. Like it's not her fault. Like I think the writing's just.
I think it says a lot that you can't even remember couple of the main stars' names.
Exactly, it's true. Like it's, and they're like anyone I liked in this show, they killed off. They're killing off.
Oh, I won't say true, who man. No one's safe. I feel like.
I mean, that could be okay sometimes, though. Like,
not in one episode, though.
Well, it was
okay.
It was like the last episode was like, oh, okay. But there was stuff in that episode like the Padawan was really hanging around with his Sith Lord is destroying everyone. I'm like. And don't say what happens to her, but like that's the kind of writing that's like, why would that be a thing?
Yeah.
Think, like you're stupid. Just stuff like that. It's piling up and makes it irritating.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird.
I don't know. I don't know much to say. I don't think it's woke. I don't mind that there's witches and shit. That's what it's getting hit for. Everybody's like it's woke. I don't care. There's witches in Star Wars. There's always been witches. So these are other witches. People are mad they call it a thread instead of the Force. That's just what this sect of witches call it. It's not like they're trying. I don't feel like the director's trying to rename the Force. But that's again, people are jumping on it because everything's pissing them off because Disney's doing such a bad job with this.
It's natural that they wouldn't call it the Force because they hate Jedis. They have this negative impression of Jedis. They're not going to use their language.
Yeah, that episode was bad for a lot of reasons, but it wasn't those things everyone's crying about. It's the lore changes. There were bigger things. Yeah, there's way bigger things.
People could have complained about.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder which way we're leaning here with this.
Well, yeah, let's go to Pop or Bust. You want to go first? Or want me to go? This was actually tough. It's tougher than I'm making it sound like it.
It really is tough.
Because you're dumping on it.
Oh, I'm definitely like. Go ahead.
I don't like things that go against canon. Like, I just don't like things that do that and kind of like break, I don't know, that tradition that's built in that you're so like kind of attached to.
No, you grow up loving something. You grow up loving the story, and then they change the story or make it less important, and that's what pisses me off.
Yeah.
Or at least make it make sense as to why you're changing something.
Yeah,
for that reason alone, I have to bust this.
Yeah, it's a bust. Like
you have to.
It's a shame because I thought this actually has bones to be really good.
Yeah.
It's just the writing's bad. It's not the acting. It's not the action. It's not even the look. They put $200 million into the show. That's a ridiculous amount of money. It's none of that.
For a Disney Plus show?
Yeah, it's crazy how much they put into that.
Jeez.
But
and outside of that episode 3, you really feel like you're in the world of Star Wars. Like it doesn't, you know what I mean?
Like an older world, but that's what it should be. It's 100 years before.
Yes.
But it's just all the dumb decisions. We got a Jedi Wookiee. Well, you don't get to see shit from him. Like it's stuff like that. I'm like, what are we doing with this material?
Yeah.
But it's a bust, and it's a shame because I thought this could be good. Disney, quit screwing up just why do you have to change the lore? That's what's pissing everyone off. Just stop.
Especially with Star Wars, you might be able to get away with it in other franchises, whatever. But Star Wars,
the changes they're making are just stupid.
Don't do it.
Like they screwed the sequel trilogy up because they had 3 different directors and they had to bring the Emperor back. Which whatever, y'all know what Disney did.
Well, as a Star Wars fan,
needs a 2-minute timeout, Scott.
As a Star Wars fan who has not watched this yet, I probably am not watching it now. So that'll tell you.
No.
You know what's sad is I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish it.
That's why.
I'm 5 in.
I don't think I will.
Really?
I really probably won't. Not after the last episode. I'm
Morbid
just like,
curiosity. And I'm going to watch it all. I'm a Star Wars fan. All right.
Oh, that's 2 busts.
Peace out.
2 busts. Stay away from it. It's as bad as they say, but I say it's bad for different reasons than you're seeing on the internet.
Yeah.
All right. Move to the next one.
Next up, we have Erik. Erik is a show about in the 1980s New York City. Vincent is a puppeteer in an unhappy marriage whose 9-year-old son Edgar goes missing. Vincent's increasingly volatile behavior alienates him from his friends, family, and coworkers. This was an episodic show on Netflix, and all 3 of us got into this. Tell me about Benedict Cumberbatch, you guys.
You know what Disney needs? A PR person. That's another problem.
Stop. We have moved on, sir.
They need to train people how to do interviews.
All right.
We're going forward. We're going forward.
All right. Now that we've taken your mic away from you,
we're talking about Cumberbatch.
Oh yeah, yeah, Kristy. I talked a lot in that last one.
All right. So, can I just say, when I saw the thumbnail of this, remember, Jay, we saw the thumbnail and it's Cumberbatch with that monster thing. And we're like, that looks ridiculous. There's no way. And we ended up not watching it. We were just like, nah, we're not going to watch that. And then I saw my mom at a picnic or something. She's like, have you guys watched Erik? And I was like, no, why? And she's like, I just finished. You've got to watch it for your podcast. You've got to watch it. And I was like, oh, okay. And
then your fellow panelists said, yeah, we need to watch this.
Oh
my God, I'm just kidding.
I was like, oh, okay. So, and I'm so glad that she got me like back to it because the content of it. First, Cumberbatch has so much range. He is amazing. He is so good.
My note is he plays a very good flawed character.
Oh my goodness. But the writing of this goes in so many different directions. And I remember at one point saying, I just don't get it. Why they're just dropping these little things. Like, and when I say little, I mean like split second things about C characters. And you're like,
or new characters you haven't even seen yet. Right.
What?
Right.
But the writing is, I feel, masterful in this show. And they tie things together in a way that you just don't see coming. And I just think it's really masterfully done. There's so many things that we've been watching lately that has poor writing.
Sure.
This is masterfully written, I feel like.
Acolyte.
Shut up. All right, so let me go now.
Scott, go.
My note was, and you watched the Jim Henson thing. I said, this is Jim Henson meets the first 48.
Yeah.
Like, that's what this show really is.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's an interesting take, a different take on a lost child. Cumberbatch, again, we've waxed poetic about him, but he does a great job in this.
Yeah.
My problem is I thought the writing was really good. My problem with this is that they give away something too early. Like, if they want us to remain in suspense for this, they give something away way too early, and then it's less suspenseful for me. Yes, there's still things that could happen, but when they give one thing away, it's like, oh man, I wish they wouldn't have done that yet. I wish they would have went another episode or two before they actually gave that away for me.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was at with it.
I also think that there was a way to do it, because really this is about more than just one missing kid.
Right.
And I felt like there was a way to do that and still keep the suspense. And still bring in those characters that they brought in, but not all of them. But I agree.
We watched another show not too long ago where the mother went missing, and I forget if it was about the apple falling from the tree, but I can't remember the name of the title. But anyway, apple falls, never falls, or something like that.
Yeah.
But at least that kept you in suspense for a while to be like,
I never finished that.
What happened? What happened? To the mother. This just gives away kind of what happened.
I think third episode
pretty quickly into it, and that's my problem with it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this is a masterclass in acting from Cumberbatch. It's just probably the best I've seen him.
Even the mom was well done.
So good.
The parents were well done. His parents were well done in my opinion. Even the, like you said, C characters, I was like, wow, they're actually doing a really good job with this, even though they don't have a really big part. So
Yeah, I agree with you completely. When I remember looked at you, I said, "Man, I wish they wouldn't have done that." Because I was really like, "All right, what's going on with this kid? Like, I don't. Is he dead? Is he not? Is he who kidnapped him? Blah 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 blah." You know, like really give it away early, and I'm like, "All right, well, I'll keep watching." And fortunately, it's still very good. Yes. They just went a different route. You go from being in suspense to something else, you know. For the second half, so it does kind of change gears. Like the first half's like a mystery, the second half's not so much. We're just gonna see how this ties up. But I thought, like you said, all these loose threads tied them into a nice knot at the end and pulled it all together. I don't know much to say. Cumberbatch is he's so good in this.
The one other thing I want to say about it is it really touches on very sensitive social issues.
Yes.
Without beating you over the head with it. But they bring it to the surface. And I mean, not just one, not just two, but like handfuls of them. And you're like, it talks about alcoholism. It talks about drug use. It talks about homelessness. It talks about, abuse and runaways and how
sex trafficking.
Yes, sex trafficking, right.
Sex trafficking. How missing children are in the news based on race, which is a huge issue.
Yes.
All of those things. And I could go on. And that sounds terrible to sit and watch for 2 hours, but they make it that you really are vested. It pulls you in.
I didn't feel like it was preachy at all.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't beat, it brings those things up, but it doesn't beat you over the head with it.
It's reality, not just...
They wrote it in a way where like it wasn't like they were like I'm going back to Star Wars a lot, but like they do things in there just because of whatever, right? An agenda or whatever. They wanted to hit you over the head with this fucking thing they like. But this one doesn't do that. Like they bring up a social issue very creatively, very like how you would naturally come across this issue in real life. Like it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like, hey, this is what I think about sex whatever. It doesn't hit you over the head with anything.
Yep.
It's just written very smooth.
It's almost like someone actually did research
right.
and like figured out what really happened.
So we mentioned the one issue I had. The only other, and this one's minor, they do, the map kind of bothered me a little bit. Like it was too, he found everything too easily.
Oh, the map?
That was a little bit, it was convenient.
I'm like, how much does he let that kid out of the house rocking around?
Not just that, but like, I mean, he sees something that's on the map and he can go 5 different ways and he just happens to go the right way to where he finds the next thing. Like, it's just a little bit too much for me.
They never let him walk to school by himself. So when was he doing all this stuff? That's what bothered me about it.
That they didn't notice or that they...
I was like...
I mean, again, minor. I'm just trying to be honest with the people and tell them everything that I noticed.
Let's think too, there's a couple things like that, but when it's written really good and it's not every 6 seconds, like, you're mad about something, you can forgive some things like that just to get the story moving or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
I'll go first since I think I talked the least, but I'm going to pop this. This is definitely not a show that I would have watched if Kristy didn't say, hey, watch this with me, because I used to, even
It's not happy enough for Brandon.
It's not even that. It's just I hate, like we're talking about just Jim Henson thing. I just don't like puppets. So when I saw the puppets, I don't care about this. You know what I mean?
But again, just like I said with the tennis earlier, yes, the puppets are a part of it, but it's the backdrop. It's not really. It's his way to hopefully tie back. With
sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Like there's nothing in there. It's like, oh god, if you like. I just don't like shows with puppets in them, but this ain't that. You know what I mean? Right. This is not that. This is about behind the scenes and blah, blah, blah. This is just too much of a good job from Cumberbatch for me to say anything else about Pop, because if you want to see a masterclass in acting, watch this.
Did you know there were puppets in Star Wars?
Yeah.
Just FYI, you said you didn't like.
They weren't singing and doing dumb shit.
Jabba's Lair? What? Oh, just saying.
Oh, they weren't singing dumb kid songs.
Anyway.
Hell, that girl was half naked.
Kristy, you want to go next?
Yeah, I can't say enough about this. But one reason that I'm glad, and pop this, if it was, I would say go right now, watch it, make it a priority. I think that you should definitely do that.
We binged it pretty much.
We did binge it, yeah, pretty much.
We watched it in 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I will tell you, like I said, the thumbnail is a little misleading. And I didn't get a lot from the trailer, so you know what I mean?
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I want you to watch it. Like, don't be misled by those things.
And it's going to be 3 pops. I don't think we held back here with our rave review about this. I tried to bring up a few things that were minor, but what you said, that almost actually endeared it to me because it didn't give away everything in the trailer. Like, I started to get into it. I'm like, oh, this is deeper than I was expecting. Yeah. This is more than what I was. So it didn't set high expectations and underperform. It set low expectations and then knocked it out of the park. And
that's a good way to say
it.
I actually really like that.
It is very deep.
All right, well, that's 3 pops. That's on Netflix. It's 6 episodes, about an hour each. So not the biggest commitment, but I like 6 episodes, hour shows. If we're gonna do that, I'll be all right with that.
Yeah. It wasn't bad at all.
All right, let's move on. We got 2 more for you.
All right.
And hopefully the camera don't die. You want to do this?
Next up is Bad Boys.
In a world. I want to hear.
Go.
I want to hear that voice.
I don't know.
Your last one was in a world when they're late police captain. Yeah. Just go.
When their late police captain gets linked to drug cartels, wide-cracking Miami cops Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett.
Mike Lowry.
Anyway, no, you're okay.
Embark on a dangerous mission to clear his name.
You said it right.
So, yes, you got this in theaters.
I did. And we're going to start a new segment soon called Worthy or Not, about whether it's worth going to see in theaters. We didn't do that for this because it's probably coming out of theaters here pretty soon. It's been in theaters.
It's on Amazon now. So
it is? Okay. Yeah. So it's out now. But this is Bad Boys Ride or Die. I mean, it's Bad Boys. Like, if you've seen the previous 3, then you know what to expect out of it. Now... No, this one's Ride or Die. For Life was the last
shit.
One. Anyway.
Even my jokes are old.
If you like the previous ones, you'll like this. The story's a little thin on this one, but it's a Bad Boys movie. Yeah. You know what to get into.
They're all thin.
What I do like about this movie, and say what you want about Will Smith, I get, like, this is probably his first big thing since everything that happened.
Since he slapped him.
Since the slap her around the world. But I will say, to me, it seems like he almost takes a back seat in this movie a little bit. Like,
really? He's like the star of Bad Boys.
The other movies, he was the lead and Martin was kind of the sidekick.
Yeah.
In this one, it follows Martin more than it follows
that's
Will
shocking.
Smith. And Will Smith is the one that kind of clams up when in high stress situations in this one.
Yeah, that's
and there's
weird.
a reason why, like, there's a life event that happens with Martin, so then he kind of just is he's more carefree and less worried about stuff. And then because of their age and some things that happens with Mike, he has more to worry about now. So I thought that was an interesting take. And kind of flipping that around, and it made Martin a little bit higher priority, made Will Smith kind of take a little bit of a back seat to him in this one. The jokes are okay, but I mean, it's kind of the same joke through the whole thing. Like,
I never really laughed my ass off at any Bad Boys movie.
It's kind of like a little snicker to the side, not something you're gonna really, bend over laughing with. They reference a lot of stuff from the previous ones. Like, this is the first one that I'm like, oh, you might need to see some of that previous stuff to even understand what's going on in this one. Like,
okay.
The last one, yes, they have carryover stars and stuff, but in this one, I'm like, oh, if you didn't see even the first one, you're gonna be lost with this. So make sure you see all of them. I will say the effects, the camera work with this. They did a really cool first-person shooter type thing with this. Like,
Oh, that sounds
they're
cool.
like actually, it almost looked like Doom. Like,
Oh, really?
like with the gun sticking out, and they're like going down hallways with it, and the action was actually halfway decent for this type of movie. Like, I wasn't expecting that type of ingenuity with this type of movie. You know what I mean? I was expecting albino alligators, which there are at the end of this, but
No,
but anyway,
spoiler.
yeah, exactly. Oh, come on, it's not anyway. But yeah, those are my initial thoughts on it. You guys have any questions about it?
Not really. I mean, I just want to have fun when I watch Bad Boys movie. Is it a fun movie?
Yeah, that's going to be part of my pop or bust.
Okay.
You
You got anything?
wanna-
You never watch any of the Bad Boys, have you?
I haven't, but I'm curious if you think they wrote the script this way to kind of minimize Will Smith's role because of the drama. Because I'll be honest, I have not watched any of the Bad Boys movies, but I did see some clips and stuff. But I didn't even know Will Smith was in this movie. I knew Martin Lawrence was.
Yeah, so I will
tell
say,
the world we don't know shit.
I will say,
No, I don't. I
just
don't know
kidding.
about this.
before I pop or bust this, I will bring insight into one thing. Like, Martin slaps the shit out of him like 3 times in this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
They
is this a
actually put-
little meta tongue-in-cheek?
Nah, they put that
payback
on-
for...
They put that on one of the trailers because I laughed. I was like, at least he can make a joke about it.
It happens 3 times, and all 3. Oh well, one time like in a really high pressure shit. Like, to me, it's like, well, he's kind of
Wow.
I don't want to say making fun of himself, but
Well,
he's at least
you can laugh at it now. I mean, hell, that was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Jesus, he only
2.5, 3,
he
I
didn't
think,
murder
yeah.
a guy. He slapped him. All right, it was stupid, but are we done? Are we done with Will Smith now?
Brandon K endorses all Will Smith movies. He doesn't care what you think. Back to my pop or bust.
Of
Basically,
course, but if you've watched one, you've watched them all anyway. So.
yeah. So, in my
Sure.
opinion, 1 was really good. 2 kind of fell off a little bit. When they took a big break and came back to it, I actually enjoyed that.
Yeah, I did
the
too.
third one was really good in my opinion. I'm like, oh, okay. They made him a little bit more adult. There's different repercussions. And there was a good storyline in the third one.
Mm-hmm.
This one's a little thinner than that previous one, but Martin holds the load. It makes it fun. This isn't as good as 3, but it's definitely watchable, and I'll definitely pop this.
All right, good, because I'm going to watch it, but I can't take the pilgrimage to a theater.
Pilgrimage. It's like 30 minutes away.
45.
Morgantown is 30. I just drove by Morgantown on my way here, by the way. And it
Yeah,
was
but there's
32 minutes.
There's
to
the
get
theater's
there
actually
from here.
further than
I actually
that.
passed a theater. On
Which
the way
one?
Here, that was.
It was 40 minutes.
It's south of Morganton. It's at a mall right there. I forget.
He
but
lies.
anyway, it was 32
Lies.
minutes from their house. He just wants an excuse to not
Bullshit.
go.
It's 40 minutes. Unless you
Anyway.
drive like 90.
Well, maybe I was, but that's beside the point. So that's a pop.
All right, that's a pop for Bad Boys.
Ride or Die.
Ride or die. Why wouldn't they save for life for
That
this
was the
one?
last movie.
I know, but they should have saved
so
it.
Weird. So
Anyway.
weird.
All right.
Main event time.
Main event. All right. Go ahead, Scott.
All right.
In a world.
No, I'm not
In
doing
a
In a
World.
World. If
God
you
damn
are
it.
watching this, you might need to pause this because this just came out today. So if you want to see it before you actually
listen to it,
you
yeah.
might actually beat your opportunity to see this if this gets out here in a couple of days.
Yeah.
But this is Beverly Hills Cop, technically 4, but they say Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. Detective Axel Foley is back on the beat in Beverly Hills after his daughter's life is threatened. She and Foley team up with a new partner and old pals Rosewood and Taggart to turn up the heat and uncover a conspiracy. Dun dun dun. This is on Netflix. I was shocked that this was not in theaters. And
I
it
can't
went
believe
straight to Netflix. All 3 of us got into it. I talked a lot last time, so you guys tell me your initial thoughts on Axel F.
Have you seen the other ones? You're terrible. I'll go. Everything he says doesn't matter now. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. What'd you think? I was actually curious.
As someone
This
who
is
hasn't,
fun.
as
Seen
someone
it.
who hasn't seen the previous ones,
Yeah.
I am actually interested.
Can I say first, it was just nice to kind of all chill and watch this as a group because we literally
Yes.
watched this morning.
Yes.
And that was kind of fun. But I like these characters a lot.
Good.
Like I really do. I think I don't know. These aren't the types of movies I watch normally.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly,
Good
I haven't
movies.
seen
Good ones.
Bad Boys. I haven't seen this, but I really enjoyed it.
See-
I like cop movies though, so I don't
Is
know
it 'cause
why
they're
I haven't
African
gotten
American?
them. Huh?
Is it
Oh
because they're
my
African American?
gosh.
Bad Boys and Axel Foley. That's all right.
Stop it.
I love the beginning of
Stop
this movie where he jokes around like that with the white guy. It's so funny.
Takes him to the hockey game. Why would you assume I don't like hockey? Why?
He's like, well, you never talked about it. Oh, you mean? That was funny. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I like the comedy in this. There were a lot of times I found myself laughing really loud, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But
Eddie looks good still. Everyone else looks like
Not
dog
his old
shit.
partners. They do not.
Oh my god! Everyone else that's been in old movies look bad, but Eddie, he don't look much different.
it's funny. I spent most of the movie pointing out characters that I've seen in other things. I'm like, is that Balky?
That's Sarge.
She had not seen the previous one, so she goes back to Perfect Strangers.
That's all I knew. That's all I knew.
So what is this? 40 years after the
40 years.
40 years after the first one.
yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy.
And 30 years since the last one, because the last one was in 94. That's why the math doesn't make sense to me with one thing, but anyway,
The music
We'll
and
ignore that.
sound felt like all the other movies. They always have their vibe, the feeling when you watch a Beverly Hills Cop movie, and I think they nail it with this movie with the sound and all that, the shooting and everything. This is fun. It's not. I liked it and I thought it was good, but I think it's like the first two are still like really much better than this one, or the first three. I think this is probably my least favorite one. Maybe two might. I don't know. One of them I didn't care for. I can't remember which one off the top of my head. Anyway, but it's still really good. Like it's not a far below them. There's a lot of. It's fun. It's funny. I chuckled a bunch of times. I didn't laugh as much as I did in the old ones. But they brought back Axel Foley. And I thought they paid good homage to him and didn't try to change him or anything. He still. He still does his shtick every time he wants something. He goes in a hotel. He does his shtick. And you get all that in this, and it's great. Seeing Taggart and Billy in this was good. Billy wasn't in it that much. You'll see when you watch
What the
it.
hell was that?
Yeah, I don't know if
I actually made a comment about it while we were watching. I'm like, why the hell is Billy not in any of those movies?
Yeah, I don't know if they're because they don't look good. Like they look
Yeah.
bad. So maybe they just didn't want them, have them on set all the time or something. But besides that, I thought Eddie killed it. I love Eddie Murphy. I think he's really good. But what do you think?
Yeah, this is a return to form to Eddie.
Yeah.
For me anyway.
Yeah.
I like the new score. I love the use of the old music in new and different ways, like slowing it down or putting it behind a hip hop track in order to kind of put it
Mix
in
it,
different
yeah.
places. Yeah. Nice seeing all the older people, as you guys said. Obviously, they're trying to put a character arc with Axel in this one. Like, as it said in the synopsis there's a relationship between him and his daughter that's a little off, and there's an arc that this goes through. That was a little thin for me.
Yeah, I didn't feel that at all.
Right.
They really did try to hammer that the whole movie. I think it's one of the flaws in the writing was like how much, because she started getting annoying to me by the end of it. I'm like, all right, we get it. You don't like him. Like, like she would give him no. It's not like he did something like terrible. At least they didn't really talk about it. Like I said, so thin. Like it's hard to believe that they don't talk. Like they haven't spoken or whatever.
I would have rather they went with a strong relationship. Like, you know what I mean?
Or at least give reasons why.
Yeah, just
Yeah, like I think.
I mean, they did, but
it was thin, like you said, thin.
I think what I would have liked to have seen was a strong relationship that was still volatile,
Right.
Because she is her position and his position are very like juxtaposition. So
And they tried to play on that a little bit.
Yeah,
Like,
but-
right when he's starting to flounder, she steps in and kind of helps him along.
Yeah.
Or blah blah blah. But
yeah.
yeah.
So this one, Brandon, you said you kind of liked the earlier ones better. The first two were very gritty compared to this.
Oh, it
one's a
was.
little more shined up.
Well, sure, it was-
The third one was shined up. It was an amusement park, for God's sake.
Yeah.
But I actually liked all three of the originals. I'm going to agree with you, but as a first take, this one might be a step behind those other three.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a far leap behind the other three, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
The newbies to the series, I actually liked. His daughter, for example. I always mess his name up. Gordon Joseph Levitt, is that it? Or,
Yeah, Gordon Joseph Levitt.
I mix up his name. He is
Robin.
in this, and I actually liked him in that. In
Yeah.
this, Kevin Bacon's in it. He plays a good part in this, so I actually like the people that they added to this.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I'll say before we get to wrapping this up here is that people that want to remake something follow the script that I'm talking about with this, and I said it about the Bad Boys movie. Like, they had 20-year layovers, 30-year layovers. Like, don't rush it. If you get a good script and you want to bring it back, okay, the fans are still going to be there and still be nostalgic for it, but make sure it's a good story. Just don't try to do it just to do it. Like, make sure it's good. And this was good enough. We're saying it's not as good as it, but it was still good. It wasn't like horrible.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
The story was still good because of what they had to. Yes, the arc between him and his daughter was a little thin.
Yeah,
but the overlying storyline was still pretty good. So
it was fun.
The story was pretty decent. So take your time. We said it about X-Men 97 too. Like, well, why didn't they just do this earlier? Well, maybe they needed 20 years to get a good story in order to do it. Now you have one. All right, let's go back to it.
I agree.
That's just my opinion. So
I liked the action in this. I thought there was a lot of car. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 car scenes, like chases. So I thought that was a little much. But Netflix has to flex a little bit with their money.
But that's also what the previous ones were.
Sure, yeah.
They were either shoot ups or car chases.
Yeah, you're right. And it felt like an 80s movie to a point. Like it
did have that feel.
I'm gonna go ahead and pop it, and I think it's fun. It makes me want to go back and watch the other ones because I loved them so much. And it's not like this ain't good. I just don't feel like it's as good on first viewing as the other ones, but it's still fun to watch. It's still Axel Foley. It's not like Eddie Murphy looks terrible, and you're like, all right, kill the character. I'd actually watch a couple more of these. He's doing a good job. He looks good. Taggart and Billy, we might have to go somewhere else besides Beverly Hills.
That's why they brought whatever Joseph Gordon-Levitt, whatever his name is. That's why they brought him in.
And that's the thing. I like the new characters. I got sick of her whining to her dad constantly or bitching, but I liked her as a character. I thought she was a good actress, and Levitt's really good. I think he's a pretty underrated actor. So I like the new characters. So if it's Eddie and these two, I'll watch it. I'll watch another one. So I'm gonna pop it.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I would definitely pop this. I think it's really good. I enjoyed it. It made me want to go back and watch the other ones.
That was the question I wanted to ask you after you popped.
I would definitely go back and watch the other one. So I definitely pop it.
All right, 3 pops for.
I didn't even say yet.
Oh well.
I pop it though.
Okay.
Reading the future here.
3 pops.
Okay.
Karnak over here knew what I was going to say.
All right. 3 pops for Axel F. You can find that on Netflix right now. It just actually came out yesterday as we're recording this. All right, guys, that's it. Season 2, episode 1 in the bag. Thank you guys for joining us. If we're going to be on YouTube, look, here's the big thing. We're going to start being on YouTube a lot.
There we go.
Go over to the cPOPuniverse YouTube channel. We'll put it up in the description of our podcast and stuff and on our social medias. And like and subscribe. Do all that bells and stuff you have to hit now. Go do that because we're gonna start putting stuff on. We've already got stuff in the can, and we're gonna be bringing this stuff out weekly. As you're listening to this, there's gonna be 4 more episodes right now on iTunes and Spotify and wherever you listen to your podcast. Immediately, if you haven't noticed, there's 5 episodes up right now. So go watch it if you enjoyed this. The other ones are more bonus episodes, but they were fun. We had a good time recording them. I think you'll enjoy them as well. Go to our social media, cPOPuniverse, letter C, cPOPuniverse, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. That's where you're going to get information about us, but YouTube is where you're going to want to go from now on. So, all right, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Be a culture vulture.
Join the universe.